The journey toward the light of truth often begins with a deep search for the meaning of life, an unquenchable curiosity, and a thirst for answers to soul-stirring questions. This is the story of Professor James D. Frankel, a prominent scholar in the field of comparative religion at the University of Hawaii. Born into a secular Jewish family in New York in 1969, he spent his early years far from spiritual beliefs. However, a winding path of life led James to encounter Islam, a religion he had initially observed only from afar through the Quran given by a friend. From a young age, James was raised in a secular Jewish family. At the age of 13, he chose to become a communist after reading Karl Marx's works. James had a friend from Pakistan named Mansour. This friend gave him a Quran and asked him to read it. Perhaps this was James's first encounter with a Muslim. "I don't want you to go to hell," James recalled Mansour saying. At that time, James did not believe in hell. However, out of respect for Mansour, he took the Quran and placed it on a bookshelf at home. Years later, while studying in Washington, James began to abandon his communist views and question the meaning of life that had haunted him since childhood. He often pondered, why are humans born? Where do we go after death? Why do people suffer? One day he received news that his grandmother had passed away. Deeply saddened, he flew to New York to attend the funeral. It was then that James had the opportunity to ask a rabbi about the meaning of life, but he received no satisfying answer. James began searching for God and the answers to all the questions that had long plagued him. He returned to New York before the new semester started. One day, while walking in Times Square, very different from today, he noted, "Back then, you could find many preachers from various religious sects." James enjoyed engaging in conversations with one of them about religion, albeit with skepticism. He once observed a group of black men in robes praying. He approached them to ask about their ritual. One of them told James he could not join because he was a devil. According to the preacher, all white people were devils. James argued, "If I'm truly a devil, why do I keep searching for God?" Back home, James remembered the Quran Mansour had given him 6 years earlier. He immediately opened and began reading it. He found no verses declaring him or other white people as devils. He read on until he fell asleep and continued reading the next morning. The Quran provided answers to all the questions that had haunted him since childhood. It explained clearly about the creator of the universe. James felt as if the author of the book was speaking directly to him. "I've never experienced anything like this. I unconsciously cried while reading. At times, my hair stood on end. It truly felt like I was reading God's words," James reflected. In January 1990, James attended a high school reunion where friends gathered and shared life stories. When a friend asked about his beliefs, James replied that he now believed in God. His friends, knowing him as a communist, were surprised. One of them asked which God he believed in. James explained there is only one God. He shared what he had learned from the Quran, that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Upon hearing this, Mansour immediately declared that James had become a Muslim. James initially laughed, thinking that only Mansour was a Muslim, while he merely believed in one God. Mansour explained that acknowledging Allah as the only deity and Muhammad as his messenger meant he was indeed a Muslim. James was astonished. For the first 6 to 8 months of his new life as a Muslim, he practiced Islam guided solely by the Quran and books provided by Mansour. Professor James D. Frankel's journey to Islam proves that guidance can come from unexpected directions to anyone sincerely seeking truth. From someone distant from religion and once embracing communism, James found peace and answers to his lifelong questions in the divine words of the Quran. His spiritual transformation shows that true faith arises from genuine search, deep thought, and an open heart. James's story inspires us with the understanding that Hidayah, divine guidance, is a gift from Allah, transcending race, color, and background. His life reminds us that those who sincerely seek God will be guided to a straight path. May this story enrich our faith, deepen our gratitude, and motivate us to continue studying Islam with sincerity and devotion.